let's talk about the 1st Michigan Sharpshooters Company K for a minute. I'm here at Riverside Cemetery in Mount Pleasant, and I came to visit the grave of another veteran of that unit in the hopes that we can shed some light on the situation where the tribe is trying to get a section of highway dedicated to the 1st Michigan Sharpshooters Company K. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of information on this unit, as a lot of people probably don't know much about them. Now, I'm not a historian on this unit, but I have picked up a little bit of information over the years. I'm in the process of reading a book that is full of biographies of these men that fought in this unit, and I've retained a little bit of that information. I'm going to share it with you now. So, the 1st Michigan Sharpshooters Company K was totally made up of Native Americans from the state of Michigan. And actually some of them were from Canada. So some of the natives from Canada decided to come down and enlist in this unit to fight along with their brothers in arms. So early on in the war, these natives had told the government that they wanted to fight for the Union Army, for the Union purpose, and they were denied. It was thought amongst the higher ranks in the government that it was not wise to arm a bunch of natives that, frankly, we had done a lot of wrong to them, and they thought that they may turn on the Union soldiers and kill people. So they were not allowed to enlist at first. So after years and years of war going on, much like what happened with the African American community, Abraham Lincoln decided, you know what, we need more troops. We're running out of people to fight this war. Let's let them fight. Unfortunately, that's what it had to get to allow them to fight. So in 1863, this unit was made up fully Native American people, like I said, other than the officers. The War Department decided that it was not wise to make Native American indigenous peoples officers in the Union Army. So what happened was they recruited a few people. There was some natives that were very fluent in English and in their native tongue, and they took these 2, sometimes 4 men, traveled them all around the state of Michigan. They went to Harbor Springs, they came to Mount Pleasant, they went down to Detroit, they went to some other native communities, and they recruited as many young men as they could. So after that happened, they put the unit all together. They went down did some training, and then they went to war. So at first, a lot of them only were like guardsmen. They were guarding Confederate prisoners of war, and that's really all the War Department would let them do. They really didn't. They were really still apprehensive about giving these men rifles and putting them out on the battlefield. It wasn't until they realized that these men were very, very accurate with rifles, and that was because of a couple of factors, but the first one being ammunition being very scarce, especially back in their communities. They had acquired rifles through training or through trading with European people, and they were using those rifles to hunt, and ammunition was very scarce, so they had to make every bullet count. So they got very, very accurate with their rifles. The other thing being maybe some genetic disposition, having very good eyes for hunting and seeing movement, and being very strong and steady with their rifles. So this company became what we now know as 1st Michigan Sharpshooters Company K, and they were the earliest form of snipers in the United States armed services. So After all of that, these young men, these young Native American men that put their life on the line for the country, they muster out of the war, they go back to their communities, many of them. A lot of them died on the battlefield. A lot of them died on the battlefield and didn't even make it back home to their communities to be buried, even though their bodies were requested to make it back to their community. There's one specific story I can think of a native that died on the battlefield. They put his body on a train and they were bringing it up through Michigan. The train line stopped at Saginaw at the time, and nobody really wanted to go through the effort of bringing his body all the way back up to Harbor Springs or Traverse City area where he was from. So they just buried him in Brady Hill Cemetery, and that's where he lies at rest today. So all of that being said, here we are 160 plus years after the Civil War, and we still have not properly recognized this group of men. The Native American tribe in Traverse City area would like to have a section of highway dedicated to these men, one of which I stand at a grave marker for now. Now this is Thomas Wabeno, and I'm going to set you down here for a second because I've got a little bit of information on his grave marker. This is Thomas Wabeno, and he's not actually buried here. This is what we call a cenotaph, and that's because his body is not below this marker. Now, Thomas here served in the Union Army, 1st Michigan Sharpshooters Company K. He went to war, got sick with smallpox, and he went to the hospital, and they said, you know what? You just have to let this disease run its course, and we're going to send you back home. So they furloughed him, and he came back here to Isabella County, to Mount Pleasant, and in May of 1864, this is where he died. Now, he's probably buried somewhere in this cemetery, but it's not right here. But after all of that, after everything he went through, not being accepted by the U.S. government to fight for the country that he lived in, and after getting disease when he finally did get to fight, coming home and dying, he gets this marker on a grave that he's not even in, and we can't get a simple highway sign to commemorate his service in the area where his descendants live. It just seems ridiculous to me that now we've gone on for 3 years. A good friend of mine, a good human being, a good person, a great man, has worked for 3 years and worked with a state senator in Michigan to get a bill proposed to dedicate a section of highway to the service of this man and the 128 others that served in this unit. And for whatever reason, we have a politician in Michigan that will not move the bill. Won't. Now, I understand up until about a month and a half, 2 months ago, we still didn't have a state budget, and that probably pushed things back a little bit. But this bill has been sitting, referred for a second reading since June, and it's now November. This is November 2nd today, November 2nd, 2025. I've sent 2 emails. I know numerous other people that have sent emails, called his office, written letters, and he will not respond. That person I'm talking about is Matt Hall. You've heard me say his name a lot lately, and I'm going to continue to say his name until I catch his attention, until we get some sort of a response and some sort of movement on this bill. It is so simple. It's literally a 3 or 4 line bill, nothing hidden in it, no garbage. It's just hey, let's dedicate a section of the highway and put 2 signs up. The tribe that wants to do this has said, we will write a check tomorrow. If this bill passes, we will write a check tomorrow for the signs. One of the stipulations of the bill is that the state of Michigan will not incur any type of cost for this project. So it has to be fully private donations that have to purchase the signs and put the signs up, things like that. This will cost taxpayers $0. And for whatever reason, Matt Hall just can't find it in him. He must be too busy, I don't know, doing other things than to just get this bill pushed through. It's like gotta be the simplest of decisions to get this bill pushed through. I've heard some speculation that some people down in Lansing are not happy with each other and they're having little hissy fits and fighting, and he doesn't want to push this bill because somebody else is sponsoring it, blah, 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 blah. Cut the shit. Stop playing this high school drama BS and get the bill passed. Let's do it. Let's finally do it. Because we don't want it to go into 4 years. And I'll tell you what, if I was a politician in Michigan and something so simple needed to be done and they just were not putting any effort into doing it, I would be afraid that I wouldn't be elected next time there's an election. I don't know. So like I said, I'm going to continue to say this name, Matt Hall, until I get his attention and get a response, or until this bill pushes through. And I am not going to let up. And I hope that if you've made it this long in this video, that you will share and you'll like this video, and we'll get this around to as many people as we can. And we're going to drive change in this state. We're going to get this done. And I can't believe this hasn't been done yet. Absolutely insane.